Hello, good morning, good afternoon or good evening depending on when and where you're watching this video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to use React Howler. It is an Npm package that you can install to help you in your React apps. What it allows you to do is to play audio, pause audio and do things like this in a super easy fashion. Hope you enjoy the video. If you have any feedback, please do let me know, and let's get into the video. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to install the Npm package via the command on the screen right now. What you have to do is you have to paste this command or write this command into the terminal inside of your project folder. Press enter and it will install this Npm package for you, thus giving you access to what we're about to do. Once you've done that, you can copy this command here, which is just import howl from Howler. Howl just means the ability to play sound at the moment, an instance in this case. So what we can do is we can create a function inside of our component now, and we can say const call my sound. I don't know what I'm calling it this, but yeah, call my sound is equal to a function. This function is going to take a source, and then we're going to say const sound is equal to a new instance of howl. Now howl takes some arguments inside of it here. We can do open it up, we can set an object. First thing it's going to do is take a source. Of course this source is going to be equal to what we pass into the function here. This source is just the link that it's going to be taking the sound from. Once you've done that, you can say HTML5 and just set this to true. This is to do with cross-origin sound errors and things like this. Don't worry too much about this one here. Once you've done that, perfect, no problem. Now, after you've created the sound, this variable here, you can say sound.play. And this just means it'll play the sound when this function is called for the moment. Now, how can we play this sound? Well, first thing we have to do is we have to create a source, okay? So let's say const sound source is equal to, and I've copied a URL here, but you can take any URL of the internet. The thing is, it has to be in an MP3 file format, no? Like I've done here. So mine's just a random sound helix song from the internet. It's not really too important, the sound. Then inside of our div here, we have to create a button which we're going to call in order to call this function up here. We can do this by saying div, and we're going to say on click. Well, actually, for the moment, why don't we actually give this this button here? So we can say click me to play sound. I'm not going to be adding any styles to this button. It's not too important. Then inside of the on click, we're going to want to do this to call our function. The function we're going to call is, you guessed it, call my sound. But what sound do we pass into it? Well, we pass into it sound source, like so. Okay, and we can just do this here. Now, when we go back to our browser, as you'll see in a moment, this will play the sound when I click on this here. Okay, let's go through. So here we are inside of our project right now. All I'm going to do here is click to play sound. Okay, so what I've done is set us back to 0 basically right here in order to demonstrate now how to play and pause a sound, because it's a little bit differently to what we did before, which was much more simpler. All we had to do before was to create a function in which we called sound.play, which is nice and easy, you know? But with sound.play and sound.pause, which we're going to talk about in a moment, it's a little bit more complicated. One thing that differs when we do it like this is we have to create the we have to be able to access sound, which is the instance of howl, globally. We can do this quite easily, really. All we have to do is we have to say const, and then, you guessed it, sound is equal to new howl. And as we talked about earlier, howl takes in two things. It's going to take a source. Now this source is going to be a little bit different to what we talked about before. We're going to say source array string, and then I'm going to copy in my my link. Okay, doing so here, for example. Once I've copied this in, we can do the same thing we talked about earlier, HTML5. We're going to set this to true due to cross-origin errors and things like this. Nice and easy, no? Now instead of our div, we're going to create two divs again. We're going to say div, the first one, we're going to say click me to play sound. Nice and easy, no? And the other one, we're going to say click me to pause sound, for example, okay? When we click on the first one, we're going to want to do something special. We're going to want to say on click, and we're going to want to call a function. We're going to want to call our method directly onto sound, actually, in this case. We're going to say on click, we're going to access sound, which is this here, which is our instance of howl, which has this source and everything like that. And we're going to say sound.play, which is what we talked about earlier, no? Except all we're doing now is we're accessing it directly from the div rather than from a function which we create. And that's it, that's all you have to do, because this sound, it already knows what it's referring to. We don't have to pass a source into it or anything here, because the source is already defined inside of sound, which we can access globally. In the second one, it's super easy. We're going to have to say on click, and do a very similar thing. But this time, we're going to say sound.pause for this one. And it's easy as that, okay? Now, when we click this one, it's going to play the sound. And this one is going to pause the sound. And then when we play this one again, it's going to start playing the sound from where we paused. So now we are back inside of our React file, and all we're going to do is we're going to say click here to play sound. The sound stops playing. Click here to play sound again, listen carefully. And as you can hear, it plays from where we left off a moment ago. One thing which we can do to save time is we can actually call something else inside of our Howler instance. We can say preload, and we can set this to true. All this does is it downloads the file before we play it, rather than downloading the file upon when we call it. This will save us time. It will decrease the delay from when we click the button to when the sound actually starts playing. It just makes for a better user experience overall. Thank you for watching. I hope you found this tutorial useful. If you have any tricks or tips that you want me to give in the future, please do let me know. If you have any constructive criticism, please do let me know as well. I'm open to hearing all this type of feedback and improve my videos. Any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. Thank you, have a great day everyone, and thank you for watching my video. Goodbye.